Hey there, this is Gourab. Welcome back with another video of the series Learn JavaScript from Scratch. So today I'll be talking about one of the non-primitive data type that we have in JavaScript, that is array. So are you ready? Without wasting any further time, let's jump right in. So like in other language, if I talk about language, let's say C, their array is considered as primitive data type. But in JavaScript, array is considered as non-primitive data type. Okay. So what is an array? It's very simple. So array is nothing but it's a collection of multiple elements of same type or different type. Yes. It could be different type as well. So here the type I'm talking about, it is nothing but the data type. So now let's see how we can create an array and let's play with it. So let's see things in action. So again I'm back to JS bin. So we'll be talking about one of the non-primitive data type that we have is array. So first we'll understand why we need an array. Then we'll see how to create an array. What are the ways we can create array in JavaScript. Then we'll see how we can access element of an array, okay, and then we'll see how we can store different type. I mentioned like same type for different type, right? We will see some of the example. Then we will see mutation of array element, how we can change or mutate array element, and at the end I'll be talking about some of the important method that we have in array, and I'll show you some of the example. Okay, so let's start with the first one, like why we need an array. Make sense? So definitely you should ask like at what situation we need an array, why this concept of array came into the picture. So let me give you one very simple scenario. The scenario is you have to store all the day that we have in week, like Sunday, Monday, Saturday and so on, in a variable. So how we can do it? So you might be thinking like, let's say I'm creating a variable, let's say day 0, and that's where I'll store, let's say my Sunday, right? Then I will create a day 1, and that's where I'll store, let's say, a Monday. Okay. And that's how, I mean, you can store all the days in different variable. So now you might be thinking something like that, right? Like I can create a different variable in order to store different data. Like day 0 will be storing Sunday, day 1 Monday, day 2 Tuesday, something like that, right? So do you feel this is a good way or approach of storing data like this? Like creating a different variable for storing different data? Do you feel? I don't think so. It doesn't make any sense, right? So what happen if I will have, let's say 100 such data, right? So in that case, I need 100 variable like this, right? And it will be very difficult to manage and maintain. And you have to write a lot of code, which is not a good idea. So that is where the concept of array basically came into the picture. So we can do it very easily using array. No matter how many data we have to store, it can be stored easily in array. So first, before that, we have to understand how to create an array, right, in JavaScript. So basically here we'll be having two ways of creating it. The first one is called using array literal. And the second one is called, let's say, using new keyword. So we will talk about both of them. But the first one is the one which is, I would say, mostly used. And going forward, we'll be using this approach only, okay? But still we should know what is the second approach. This is very rarely used. So let's talk about the first one, that is using array literal. The same way that we are creating a variable. We'll write var and then a name of an array. Let's say it is days or something like that. And then we will write something like this, okay? It means it's an array. Now we have to initialize it with all the values here. So let's just write quickly. So that's it. So you can see here we are separating element by comma. Okay, that is important. So now if I try to write, let's say console.log, then days. So we can see this array. Let me run it. You can see this is nothing but my array. So you can see we are storing all the element like this. Here we are not creating different variable for storing different element, right? In one variable only we are storing all this element. So that is nothing but an array. So now let's talk about the other approach. So let's just comment it out. So here also I will declare a variable, let's say days. Here, as it mentioned, I will be using new keyword. New is a keyword. And then I will write something like this. Here A will be in caps. Okay. So now here I will write my array within this bracket. Perfect. So this is, you can see, if you have already learned some of the object oriented language, then this syntax would be very common for you, right? Using new and something like this. So new keyword is basically used to create an object, right? And here array is nothing but my constructor where we are passing these values. So it will create an object where it will assign all this value. So if I now run it, I'll show you my array data. The same thing. If I comment it, let's say, just expand it. Let me clear it and run it. You can see I can see the same exact data, right? So from here also we can prove that array is nothing but an object, right? Because we are using new keyword. So earlier I mentioned like all the non-primitive data type that we have in JavaScript are nothing but an object, right? So in other way also we can prove it. How? Using type of. So if I write, let's say console.log, then type of, then days. So what should be the output of it? It should be an object. Let's see. So if I just comment this part, let's see. You can see we are getting object. Okay. So now if I comment this part and uncomment the first approach, then also we will get an object. So that means array is nothing but an object in JavaScript. Okay, so now we have seen how we can create an array using array literal, something like this. Another one is using new keyword. So now the important one, like let's say I have created an array, but how can I use or access the element of an array? Like this one. For in case of variable, we can just use day 0 in order to access Sunday, right? Day 6 in order to access Saturday. But in case of array, how can I access Saturday? How can I access Sunday? Let's see that. So we have already declared this array. Let me just comment it out, clear it out. Okay. So now let's say I want to access Sunday. So how I can access Sunday? First I have to write the array name, that is days. And then I will write something like this. Okay, that is the array symbol. So now here I have to pass the index of the element. So how do I know the index of the element? So in case of array, the index will start with 0. This is a 0 index, this is a 1 index, and this is how it will go. Okay. So if you want to access Sunday, so we already know that it is a 0 index, right? So just we will pass here 0. Now if I run it, you can see I am getting Sunday. Now if I have to access Saturday, then what is the index of Saturday? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have to pass here 6 and we can easily access Saturday. The same thing goes for Wednesday. So it is 0, 1, 2, 3. If I pass 3 here, we should get Wednesday. Just remember this should start with 0, not 1. Okay. So this is how we can access different element of an array. Now one more thing, if I want to know like how many elements that we have in array, that is nothing but the length of the array. So here we are having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? 7 element. So how do I know? If it is an unknown array, then how do I know? So for that we can use, first to write the array name and then length. This will give you the number of elements that we're having in an array. So it will return 7. So we can easily understand like we are having 7 elements in this array. This is very useful. We'll be using it a lot in real life. So you can see here we have stored same data type. Like all the elements we are storing here, this is nothing but string. Now what if we are storing different data type? So let's see that. So let's say I am storing one more array. Let's say var different type array. Okay. Just I'm giving some names so that you can understand what is the meaning of it. Then array symbol. Let's say I am storing Jonas. we know that it's the string data type. Then I'm storing boolean value, it's a different data type. Then I'm storing number, let's say I am storing null, I am storing undefined. So you can see we are storing different data type here, right? So if I just console.log and let me just check what we can get here. So you can see we are getting the exact result, right? So here we are storing different data type in an array. Okay. Now in the same way, if I want to access, let's say this 2, how we can do it? So we have to write the array name, that is different type array, and then we have to pass the index. It would be 0, 1, 2. We'll write 2 and here we'll get 2. This is how we can access it. Okay. Also one more thing, you can store an array within an array. Doesn't make sense? Okay, let's see. Like here we can store days, and we already know like days is nothing but an array, right? So we are storing an array inside an array. It is possible. So now if I try to check my array, let's see. So now we can see we are storing an array within an array, right? It is possible. So now let's say I have to access Sunday. So think about it, pause the video, how we can access Sunday now. Let's see how we can do it. So first we have to write the array name. Okay. So now what is the index of this days? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So first I will write 5. So if I write 5, I can access this array like days. Let's see. We can access this array. But now I need Sunday, right? So again I have to write 0 because Sunday is the 0th index, right? So now if I run it, you can see we are accessing Sunday. Okay. So this is how you can access an array. Okay. Makes sense? Mutation of array element, like how we can change the element from an array. Okay. So let's say I want to change Jonas to John, a different name. How we can do it? So for that we have to access this index. So we know like how we can access this one, like the array name and then the 0th index, right? Because this is the first element. And here I will just write the different name, that is John. That's it. Now if I try to log the array, let's say I'm just showing it. We should be having John now instead of Jonas. Let's see. You can see we are not having Jonas now. We are having John. The same way, if instead of undefined, I want to put some value here. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll just write 4. I'll put some value. Let's say welcome. And if I run it, you can see we are getting welcome, right? Instead of undefined. So this is how you can mutate or you can change the element of an array. So now let's talk about the last point, like few important methods in an array, and those are very useful. So the first one I will talk about, that is push. So what push will do, it will add an element in an array at the end. So let's say we are having an array as color. Let me just clear it out. So now I want to add one more color, that is black, at the end of this array. How I can do it? Very simple. I'll just write color, then push, and the color that I want to add at the end, that is, let's say black. So now if I try to console.log, let me just comment it. So you can see the black is added at the end. That is the purpose of push method. The same way we have pop. So pop used to remove the element from the end. So if I just write, let's say color dot pop, okay, then what happened if I now console.log? So what happened? Let me just run it. So you can see black is added. It is because of push. Now because of pop, now black is removed. So it will remove the last element of an array. Okay. So next one I will be talking about, that is unshift. So what unshift will do, if I want to add an element at the beginning of an array, then we will use unshift. So let's see, if I just write, let's say color dot unshift, and here I can write a different color, let's say yellow. I want to add one color at the beginning. So let me clear it out. So now if I just run it, the color again. So let's see. So now you can see yellow is added at the beginning. That is because of unshift. So the same way we have one more method, that is shift. So shift is basically used to remove the first element of an array. The same way. So if I just write color dot shift, and that's it. And if I just console.log again and just clear it out, so you can see the first element which was added like yellow, it is no more there. So we have removed the first element. So these four are the very basic method that we have in array. So there are a few more methods that I want to talk about, that is concat. So as the name suggests, it is used to concatenate two array. Okay, so let's say if you are having one more array, let's say other color. Let's say if you are having one more array like this, let me just comment all this. And if you want to merge both the element in one array, let's say I'm creating one more array. So here I can concatenate both the array. So first I'll write the array, let's say color, and then I'll write concat, and then I will write this one. So now if I just print my result array, so now you can see we have successfully added both the array. So the one more method I would like to talk about, that is called indexOf. So what we can do with index, let me just comment it out. What we can do with the index, we can get to know about the index of the element. So if I want to know what is the index of rate, so here it is very easy to understand, right? Because we are having only 3 elements. We can easily count it manually, like 0, 1, 2. So 1 is the index of rate. But what happens if you are having, let's say, 100 of element? You cannot count it manually, right? It is very difficult. So in that scenarios, indexOf will help you to get the index of the element. So let's say if I want to know the index of rate, how we can know it? So we will just write color dot indexOf, and here we will pass the value, that is rate. Let's say I'm storing it in a result, let's say var of rate, and we can just see what is the index of rate. Just clear it out. So you can see we are getting 1, which is right. The index of rate is 1. So what about green? So if I write green, we should be getting 0. So we should be getting 0. So that's what I told. Array will start with 0 index at the beginning. And the last method that I will talk about, that is called includes. So as the name suggests, what includes will do, it will take one value, element, and it will check whether this element exists in this array or not. So sometime you may have to check some value, whether this value is there available in that array or not. Based on that, you will write some logic, right? So if I want to check whether this white is available in this array or not, okay, how we can do it? It's very simple. Again, I'll write, let's say, is white include. Okay, so this is how you have to write a variable name so that it will make sense. So now if I just write, let's say, color dot includes, and then I will write white. So it will be taking that element and it will tell me whether this element is available in this array or not. So if I just write console.log, and then that's it. So let's check. So it is giving us true. That means yes, it is available. So this will return Boolean value always. So if I write W in caps, let's see what I will get. False. That means it is case sensitive. So when you are passing some element, you should know that it is case sensitive. So now if I write, let's say, green here, now we'll be getting true. So that's all about video. I hope you got the idea of array, like why we should use array, what are the different way we can create it, how we can access element of an array, how we can mutate it, how we can check the length, and what are the different methods those are available in an array. So thanks for watching this video. We will see in the next video. For more videos like this, you can follow my channel. Take care. Tata. Bye bye.